You're not letting us in.
This lady's in.
Let us in, Richard! Howard! Let's go! Let's go! We're going in!
Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Everybody in! Everybody in! Everybody in! Open! Everybody in! We just meeting, sir! Open meeting! Open meeting! Open meeting! Court order! It's a court order! Open those doors! Open those doors! Open those doors!
So what? We're here trying to go to the door. RightNewsAmerica.com. RightNewsAmerica.com.
Let us in!
Well, listen, I just got in.
There'll be order in the house, or the house will be cleared. Anybody chanting's going to leave. We're going to have order and decorum in the room. Joette, you can take all the pictures you want of me. Why don't you tell everybody what you did to my family, okay? I'm done covering for you awful people. You're going to have order. If we have chance, you're going to be removed. I'm not going to warn anybody again. Sergeant at Arms, prepare to remove people.
You guys coming in the other door!
Please take your seats so we can get the meeting started.
Gotta love it, huh? I love it.
State Chairman, you better get control of your people. This is absolutely disgusting what you're doing.
What are you hiding from, Dave? Let him in!
Yeah.
You're not hiding from anything.
Stop hiding, Dave! Let the people in!
I know. I'm just inside the doors. I see
Thank you. Hey, John, here you go, smile. There you go. We go see.
I feel bad because Ian's out there.
Huh?
Ian's out there.
Well, excuse me.
One of us should be up there and one of us should be here. You want me to go up there?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, pardon me, sir.
Oh, I know. There you go. Hi. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna go with Johnny.
Okay, I got it. Here. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, then maybe you have until then you don't.
Yeah, excuse me.
And you're in D, and you're in D.
No, it's not. I'm here to get rid of you. That's who I am. Not a joke. You're very serious. Your fault.
tripod.
Ushers, please clear the aisles.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, when I went in the generator, I was there for that.
Oh, sorry. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, sorry. I gotta get all my equipment off.
Let me know if I need to move during.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
And I was gonna.
I'm on your side too.
Thank you.
What do you know? Do you know about the NRS?
I know we can't start till they say the wristbands are out.
Anybody can be in here, so what you're saying is the bylaws are just open. Just gonna let
Please take your seats. Ushers, clear the aisles, please.
Officer, I've got it right here in case somebody's going to show you the NRS. They can't kick anybody out unless they're unruly. I agree. So stop being like a sheep. Stop being just
That's what fun. I'm just trying to get the meeting going. We're all just trying to get it going.
I want people to be here.
Let's go start.
If you're going to do some elections and be elections, do it right. Don't cheat people.
I'm just trying to get the meeting
I
going.
appreciate you. Don't tell people to leave them. You have every right to be here. They're not stuck. I don't have stuff. I have all night. Thanks.
I just want the meeting to go. I'm cool either way.
Are you a member?
Of what?
The Central Committee? Yeah. When did you join?
3 years ago?
Just tell them nobody's home. So, no.
Richard McLean's going to do the invocation. Please take off your hats.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, please bless this meeting tonight. Give us the strength, the wisdom to see through this turmoil. Please keep everyone safe tonight. Let cooler heads prevail. We ask, God, that you please speak to the hearts of the people outside as well as the people inside this chamber, and let them know through your grace, through your wisdom, that there is no attempt to keep them out of this. We want to include Republicans, we want to include... Please, God, bring everyone in this room a little bit of strength, a little bit of patience. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Byron Brooks, you want to lead us in the pledge?
And a woman? For which it stands, one nation.
Here we go. I agree.
Okay, Richard's going to have some remarks. Please be seated.
But I remember you anyway. You've always been good.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. This is a lot of chaos and turmoil, and I'm hoping that something good eventually will come from this. I do want to walk through some of the events from the last couple months. There's been a lot of misunderstanding in terms of what the process has been for applying for membership and why there's been so much trouble. One of the bylaws that we trip over almost every single meeting is an attendance requirement wherein members have to attend at least 2 meetings before they have voting rights. That means physically attending the meeting. There is not a party that I know that does not have at least that. Most of them have more strenuous requirements. The reason being is pretty straightforward. We need to have some understanding of the board that you're voting for, some understanding of the organization that you're voting in, and some of the things, the plan, the agenda that you're being asked about. We have a several slates of candidates tonight that are going to talk to you about what they want to do with the party, and having an engaged membership who understands where we are in this process, because we can't completely revolutionize a party in a single election cycle. And a lot of us haven't been here longer than that with the county party. We've been in and out, and we've been trying to do our best to implement the kind of change that the county needs so that we can turn Clark County red again. Unfortunately, there is a contingent of Republican that is content to be discontent. And it makes it very difficult to communicate it, or it makes it very difficult to pursue a professional agenda for the party. And these are difficulties that are fairly typical, and we're willing to work through them, but it requires cooperation on both sides. One of the things that has to happen is you have to have rules, bylaws, etc. Our bylaws have been in conflict for quite a while. We have had generations of change to them. Ironically, the reason that they are as difficult to deal with as they are is we're sort of locked into where they are. So you have to have a meeting in order to change bylaws, and you have to have a bylaw change during a pandemic to have a meeting. So we wound up with a single meeting after our convention. That was in November. The meeting went well, the elections were held, and things were fairly smooth, not as smooth as they could be, but they went a little better. What has happened in the last couple of months is several outside groups have begun to circulate applications in the name of the Clark County Party without authorization. A lot of honest, well-meaning people have signed up thinking that they signed up for membership and were being denied. There is no provision anywhere, and there never has been with the Clark County Party, for you to sign an application and be a voting member in a single meeting. So the issue we've got is we have a lot of very frustrated, again I say well-meaning people who want to be in this meeting and they want to vote and they want to have a say. We're not denying that. What we're asking is that we follow the process and that we have that in its proper time. There were 300 plus members who attended our precinct meeting and convention. If you attended the precinct meeting and the convention, can you please raise your hand? Your vote is the vote we're trying to protect. Your place in your party is the vote we're protecting right now. This is not about keeping anyone out. This is about making sure that a bunch of people with an activist agenda or maybe a misinformed agenda don't come in and step on the plan you've been voting for the last 2 years. I've only been with the party a little under 2 years, and if you remember, I stood before you in November and I held up a slate card, and I said we were 2/3 of the way through a plan, and I asked you to put your confidence in us to go the rest of the way, and you did. We have made tremendous progress. The Clark County Party data program is the best data program in the state.
You're out of order. You speak out again. We'll be able to...
Oh, Lord, have mercy. You're looking for reasons to take it.
Part of the issue we've got is you hear turn Nevada red all the time. A gentleman, very frustrated gentleman, the other day sent an email to us and he said, before we can turn Nevada red, we need to turn the Republican Party red again.
Yep.
We need to start acting like Republicans again. What the left does, what liberals do, is they basically try to create their own narrative. They deny the facts, right? You argue facts, then they call you something. What do they call you?
Rhino.
Racist. So the same people that I'm talking about sued us for racial discrimination regarding membership applications. Keep in mind, nobody had been made a member since the November meeting. There is a process called a consent calendar. Consent calendar identifies everyone who has one meeting under their belt, and they are going to come here tonight for their second meeting and they're going to be voted in. The people that I'm talking about, knowing that that's how this process works, turned around and told everyone out in the public that that list somehow excluded them and therefore it meant we were denying them membership. That is not the case. It is the process we have all used. It is the process that's been around since before this entire board was elected. There's absolutely no truth to the fact that we are trying to keep members out. If you are a member who came through the convention and the precinct meeting, you are a full voting member right now. If you are a member who came through the November meeting, you will be a full voting member when the consent calendar is adopted tonight. If you attended tonight and took an application, you will be given credit for attending this meeting, and at the next meeting you will be made a full voting member. That is our rules. So the issue we have right now is we've got a number of people who know very well how the process works, who are deliberately distorting that and telling people things that are not true. If you saw what was going on outside, that pandemonium is caused by setting an expectation that frankly we cannot meet under the rules. We cannot meet and continue to protect your vote. I get one vote the same as the rest of you in this chamber. I was made a member the same way you were. That vote has to be protected, and that was our goal. If we can bring these other members in and they can be constructive members of the party and work toward the goals of the party, of course we would welcome them. Now there is a gentleman who has been removed from the ballot tonight under a suspension because of an ethics violation, and he is the gentleman.
They took him out? Yes. That's wrong.
We're not recognizing anyone from the floor yet, Mr. Cole, in time.
You took Jesse out? They took Jesse.
Not recognizing Robert's rules?
The fact of the matter is, there has been a conflict surpassing understanding between the county and state party for a decade at least. It's time to put the conflict down. There's something we need to understand. We are already losing this next election cycle. We are already losing by giving the left everything they need to talk about us as dysfunctional, to talk about us as racist, to talk about anything they need to create their narrative.
I kind of think turning down the Filipinos down. Call me crazy. I'm just like
People who continue to scream over the speaker are going to be removed. You've been given a warning. We're not entertaining any questions right now. So let's be respectful and move on, and we'll get through this. Thank you.
Okay, before we call the meeting to order, we've invited a couple people up to speak. I'd like to call former County Party Chair Dave McKeon forward, please.
My fellow Republicans, good evening. How are you? Some of you may not know who I am, so a little history. My name is David McKeon. I moved here in 2009. I was invited down to Laughlin to meet with Sue Loudon and other Republicans, and they said, we're looking for somebody to lead the Clark County Republican Party. And so someone turned to me and said, David, why don't you do it?
Sergeant at Arms, please identify the person that just spoke out and remove them from the hall. Who spoke out? Please remove them from the hall. So you're going to make chicken shit comments and not leave? Yeah, that's right. I said a bad word, okay? We're not tolerating your stuff. We'll just clear it, okay? Yeah, that's funny. It probably was you, Susan. We'll be watching you, okay? Okay, great. It's not you. Who? Identify who it was. It was back in your group.
What?
Wow. This isn't her responsibility. You sound like a terrorist.
Lots of energy in the room. Lots of energy. So, a little bit more history. I was asked by a small group of people to run for the county chair. And I had never done that before. But I accepted the call, and I campaigned, and it got pretty intense, and people chose their candidates, and it was a lot like this. However, we acted like adults. And it's important that we be calm. So this is what happened. When I was campaigning, I got a shirt made. It said, get registered, vote Republican, with an elephant on it. And I went down to see Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid. And he was leading a big parade downtown with all of the labor and SCIU, you know, they're people. And Senator Reed came up to speak to everybody at the podium in front of the federal. Eddie, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you. This is a man who speaks for liberty right here. Eddie, you're a good man, and I appreciate your spirit fighting for the people. Good to see you again. So anyways, I get this shirt made, and we go down, and we get right to the rail, and literally there are thousands of people on Las Vegas Boulevard. It's shut down.
Thank you, buddy.
And Senator Reed comes out to give his talk, and I'm staring right at him, and he's looking at all the people, and he sees my shirt, like one of maybe 2 Republicans out of a sea of Democratic supporters. And he looks at me, and you see his eyes thinking, what are you doing here? And I'm smiling, I'm looking right at him. So when he's done giving his talk, he walked down to the crowd, he started shaking everybody's hand. Remember, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, the most powerful senator in the Senate, and the strongest person to ever represent the state of Nevada. That's who I walked up to. So he walks up to me, and he puts his hand out, and I'm shaking his hand, and I said this, Senator Reid, my name is David McKeon, and I'm running to be the chairman of the Clark County Republican Party, and I'm going to turn Nevada red. And he literally looked at me and smiled and began to squeeze my hand as hard as he physically could. And he stood up perfectly straight, and you know what I did? I began to squeeze his hand, and we just grinned for about 3 minutes. And as we're gripping and smiling, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to take out your party. I'm going to take out your leaders, and I'm going to deliver Clark County. And then I got elected to be the chairman of this party for this county, and it was very simple. We had one mission, win Clark County. That was it. We literally sued Democrats and prevailed. We literally won seats that we were told nobody could win. And not only did we win every constitutional office, governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, attorney general, you know, the guys that actually run the government. And then we won the majorities in the assembly and in the Senate. Never done before. That happened in 2014. And do you know who made it happen? Wrong. You. You made it happen. I was just the guy willing to take the arrows. I was the guy willing to take the accusations. I was the guy willing to put my own money into it to follow through on my commitment. And look what has happened since 2014.
No, you're good. You're good. I got you, buddy.
We went from having the majorities and the top seats, and year after year, we grew smaller and smaller and smaller. Someone asked why.
They will.
Thank you. When our people get elected and they don't stand up for the values which they preach to get elected and then flip, they lose our confidence. And that is precisely what has happened. This party has cannibalized itself. Politicians that got elected made deals for themselves after the legislature was over so they would be sitting pretty in high office, good paying jobs, while all of us that did the work got screwed. That's what happened, folks. And we can sit here and point and blame and say this and say that, but until you actually have somebody that has demonstrated a successful effort in running a campaign and winning in a Democratic seat, we're not going to have the leadership that we need to win this election. So I'm standing here today to tell you that I have looked and I have studied and I have done my own research. And I'm here today to tell you that I am casting my vote for Republican Senator Kerry Buck. it's real simple, Tyree. She beat a Democrat that held that seat for 8 years. She's a winner. And we need winners. And again, Senator Kerry Buck is who I support to help turn Nevada red. I can say it because I've done it, and I know she's going to do it, and I'm going to give her my full support. Choose wisely, Nevadans.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Tyree, one more comment. I've already warned you. Sam, Captain Sam? Okay, Richard, I'm sorry. Richard to introduce Captain Sam.
So we did something a little unorthodox with this meeting. We had a gentleman who came to our Lincoln Day and spoke to the room. And at the time when I introduced Sam, I asked a question of the room. I asked, what kind of a Republican do each of us want to be? What kind of a voter, what kind of a citizen, what kind of a patriot do we each want to be? And one of the things that needs to happen is we need to gain some perspective. Fighting over titles or control of the party or votes is not where it's at. And so I couldn't think of a better person to come and speak to you all tonight to set the tone of seriousness. The people we're electing and the people we're choosing make life and death decisions every single day. And it starts at the lowest level of governance all the way to the top. And there's very real consequence to those day-to-day decisions. There's also a genuine heroism that arises when the call to sacrifice is met. And I don't know anybody who epitomizes that and the grace and the incredible strength that is required to overcome what this man's been through better than Captain Sam Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Sam Brown.
Good evening. Thank you.
Well, it's okay.
Look, it's clear to me there's a lot of business to occur tonight. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Brown. Some people refer to me as Captain Sam Brown. Some people call me a candidate to take on Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. I'm also known as a husband, father, and small business owner. But tonight, I want to tell you another title I've had. You see, I live in Reno. I did come down just today, and I'll be here the rest of this week. And about a year ago, people would have called me Volunteer Sam. The reason why is because I sat in effectively your same seat in Washoe County. County party politics can sometimes be a messy process. I've seen it in Washoe County. There's disagreements about processes, there's disagreements about leadership. But at the end of the day, we all need to come together because there is a mission greater than some of the strife that we have. And as I said, a year ago, I was just a member of the Central Committee. I worked on campaigns as a volunteer. Like many of you, this last cycle I was knocking doors, volunteering at meetings, showing up at rallies and handing out water and checking people in, showing them where to go. Anyone else here do any of those things? Because I believe this room's full of you. We're all volunteers here. We're all volunteers. We take time away from our family, take time away from our businesses, our professional life, the hobbies that we have, the things we cherish, because there's something that binds us all together that compels us to come together, and that is the values of the Republican Party. It supersedes all leadership, all personalities, all splintering agendas. Because we recognize as members of the Republican Party that there are people who are working, and sometimes much more effectively than we care, working against what we hold to be true, what we value as personal freedom, personal responsibility, smaller government, less spending, more accountability, and dare I say, elected officials who actually share in our challenges and suffering and go work to solve those. And so yes, I have stood up from the very seats in which you sit today, not that long ago, and I said, I've had enough. I've had enough of standing by and watching Democrats continue to roll over the Republican Party in this state. And I stood up and I have volunteered myself to be a candidate against what is arguably one of the strongest senators who will be well funded in this next election cycle, because I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe that we can bind together and be more effective than any Democrat campaign this next cycle, because the thing that's going to bind us together is more powerful than the hatred on that side, and it is a love of the same values. We all sacrifice. I tell my team in these early days of what will be a long and difficult campaign, there's one thing we must all accept and all do from day one, and that is sacrifice. We all sacrifice our time. We sacrifice relationships. We sacrifice our money. We oftentimes believe in someone and ask them to go forward and represent us, and sometimes there's disappointment. But we cannot allow that to steal our hope. Because it's not just hope that we work for. If we lose that hope, if we allow the challenges that extinguish that or threaten to extinguish that to deter us from the work that we do, the sacrifices of those who came before us are for naught. Our children who are growing up with the threat of critical race theory and other divisive and ideology that's based and rooted in Marxism will be something that they have to contend with in these schools. And that's not going to happen on our watch, is it? So tonight I just wanted to come in. I wanted to introduce myself to you, my fellow volunteers, to you who have worked, in some cases, decades, for the causes which we do believe in. And I'm asking you to come together, because our mission is greater than any one of us. This requires a humble pursuit of something that is greater than the threat from the other side. It's time for our party to heal, to work together. If we can't do that, then how are we going to heal the relationships with our neighbors, with our co-workers, with the people that we walked our kids to school with? So I will admit, as someone from Reno who has not spent a great deal of time in Clark County as of yet, I don't necessarily know all of the backstory of what's led to tonight, but I can tell you that this room is full of people who have a shared vision. People who I trust will come together with me and fight for the things that we believe in this state. I don't know all of you yet. I'm sorry that I only know a few. But I can tell you that I've seen selfless service out of some of you already. There's a band of brothers that extends beyond just our military ties, that extends across races and religions, and it's rooted in what Abraham Lincoln initially fought for. It's people like Byron Brooks, who's worked in this community for years, has served veterans, who has served this party, who has served the things that we value. It's people like him and others who I have not yet met, who are going to lead this party forward. And you know how I know we're going to win? Because we have not extinguished our hope yet. We're going to win in 2022. We will defeat Catherine Cortez Masto. And I'm pleased to introduce myself tonight briefly. And I'm asking all of you, if you've not yet received this flyer, to please look forward to coming together as one united party after tonight, whatever may happen. On Saturday, if you go to CaptainSamBrown.com, you'll see a link to sign up, and please RSVP for our event. We will have open doors. All Republicans, Independents, and Democrats are welcome. We have a message of hope for our community, hope for our state, and hope for this country. So I hope that you'll join me on Saturday. I hope that the procedures of tonight will go orderly, and that as we leave this room, we leave as Republicans, united together, working together, and loving each other. Thank you. It's good to meet you all tonight.
Thank you, Captain. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Our roll is 515. I declare a quorum, which is 10%, 52 people, so I'm sure we're all in agreement that we're over 52 people. We'll start with a parliamentary special order.
Point of order. I move to amend the membership resolution of the consent calendar to add the names of all individuals who attended the 2020 convention as delegates, as well as those Republicans that properly applied.
That's not a point of order. You're making a motion. Motions are out of order. Please remove the microphone.
Our motion's out of order. Also, I'm Alita Benson, District D. Sorry, forgot to say that.
You said a point of order. A motion is not a point of order. Please sit down.
I apologize. I would like to make a motion to amend the membership resolution as we are now on the consent calendar to add the names of all individuals who attended the 2020 county convention as delegates, as well as those Republicans that properly applied for membership from the time of the November 2020 meeting until the present.
Yes. They did not attend 2 meetings. Your motion is out of order. It's against the bylaws.
You become a member once you attend the county convention.
No, you don't. You don't. No, you don't. Motion's been ruled out of order. Please sit down. All right, you're going to be removed again. You're not going to sit there and yell from your chair. We're going to continue order. Your motion's been overruled. Mr. Tyree, would you approach a microphone and do it properly? You wrote the rules. You can abide by them. Please identify yourself and your commission district.
Robert Tyree, Commission District G. I appeal the decision of the chair.
Mr. Tyree has appealed the decision of the chair. The overruling, Mr. Call has seconded it. It requires a 2/3 vote.
It does not, it's a majority vote, sir, according to Robert's rules.
Our rules require a 2/3 vote if it, Mr. Tyree.
Our rules do not require a 2/3. Please cite it if it does.
You cited that it doesn't.
They're in Robert's rules, it's basic rules of order. I don't have to prove it.
Hey, you're not going to talk over me again, Mr. Tyree. We're going to take the vote. We have a motion on the floor. Let's take a vote. All in favor of Mr. Tyree's motion, please signify by raising your hand. All opposed, please raise your hand. We'll have to call for a division of the House. It's too close. Mr. Tyree's rule.
Too close to me behind the gun.
I know, I got it.
Tellers, you want to take your places?
Comes after 10. 605.
It was not close.
There's about 6 or 8 people that crashed the doors without wristbands. Would the tellers please be very careful when counting to make sure that everyone stands and shows their wristband. So everyone in favor of Mr. Tyree's motion, please stand.
Point of information if I can. Can you over here? Can you restate the motion? What are we voting for? I'm not sure.
Mr. Tyree, go ahead, or I'm sorry, it's Ms. Benson's motion.
A yes vote would allow for Ms. Benson's motion to go forward and allow in the individuals that attended the 2020 convention, were on the consent calendar for the November and May meetings to participate as members.
So in other words, if I may clarify with the chair, this motion that we're voting for is to allow a motion to be heard, not necessarily voting for the motion itself.
Yes, but the issue is it's against the bylaws, so we're trying to vote a motion and it's against the bylaws, and it's out of order.
It would allow.
I don't think you're allowed to have a vote on a motion that's out of order. I'm sorry.
It would allow those members to be added to the consent calendar.
There was no May meeting. The May meeting was canceled. So how are you giving people credit for a May meeting that was canceled?
That's why you canceled.
That does not. And most of those applications were sent in, and no one has a way to track those, and most of them were sent in way before 30 days.
For the May meeting.
If they were before 30 days, they should get out.
No, he didn't. You really did.
Yeah. What a
He's just missing the German accent and the monocle.
I'm sorry, but I'd advise the council, this motion is out of order, it violates the bylaws, and it is not allowed to be voted on by the body. That's the ruling, we're moving on.
Whoa.
Please cite the bylaws. Point of order.
That's the way to bring unity.
Point of information, I have the bylaws. 3.2, 3.1, my name is Benson, District E. Delegates attending the biennial Clark County Republican Convention become new members at the close of convention. This is a motion to add the people who are already members according to our bylaw 3.1.2.1.
These people are already on the membership roll. It went to the convention and went to the November meeting. They're already on the membership roll.
No, they're not, Mr. Chairman. I know of a number of people that attended the convention. I've got the convention rule right here that weren't allowed in.
Thank you. My name is Edgar Dawson. I'm the acting secretary. The motion is ruled out of order because the second part, trying to allow people who did not attend 2 meetings. We had a November meeting. If they did not attend the November meeting, then this would be this first meeting that they had. There was a meeting in May that was scheduled that was canceled, including canceled by court order. That does not count as a meeting since no meeting took place. The people who are on the consent calendar for their second meeting attended the November meeting, and this would be their second meeting. The people who attended the precinct meeting, like myself and the county convention, have already been made members. The only way they can lose their membership is if they miss the next two meetings, which would be November and this meeting. If they are in this meeting and missed the November meeting but attended the precinct meeting and the county convention, they are still members. No member has been removed from the rolls who attended the precinct meeting and the county convention because two meetings has not happened. So the motion that has been made is against the bylaws. If you voted to pass it and overrule the chair, which is not allowed, it would still violate our bylaws.
Not holding meetings is also against the bylaws, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah.
Sorry, but the governor shut down the state, and there was only 50 people allowed. Oh, yeah, I know. We're supposed to hold meetings even though the governor said we couldn't. I'm tired of
order, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Tyree, and then we're going to move on.
The rules actually provide for virtual meetings.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Mr.
they
Tyree,
do.
not for voting meetings.
They do actually. I wrote those rules, as you so eloquently pointed out earlier.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tyree.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the consent calendar with the exception of section 6B to remove to add additional names to it.
Do we have a second to Mr. Okay. Second, there's a motion on the floor. We have a second on the motion. There's a motion on the floor, Ms. News.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
There's
point
a
of
motion
order.
on the floor, Ms.
Mr.
News.
Chairman, point of order.
To what reason does the lady wish to be recognized?
Mr. Chair, I'm asking to be recognized. You've asked to adopt the consent calendar as presented. There are 3 items on the consent calendar. I would like to make a motion to remove one of those items from the consent calendar for separate consideration.
There's already a motion on the floor. You can't put a motion on top of the motion. We have to resolve the motion that is on the floor. Your motion is out of order.
Mr. Chairman, it is not out of order. If you adopt the consent calendar, it is then impossible to remove an item from the consent calendar for separate consideration.
Again, there's a motion on the floor and there's a second on the motion. We will debate the motion. All in favor of the motion? It's the consent calendar.
What exactly are we voting on?
Yeah. Do you want to restate your thing?
To restate the motion, Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the consent calendar and ask for the removal of 6B to add additional names to it.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hands, please. All in favor? Or stand up, please. It's easier. I'm sorry. All in favor of the consent calendar, please stand up. Okay, very good. Thank you. All opposed to the motion, please stand. In the opinion of the chair, the motion is carried.
What?
Division. I call division of the vote.
Wow. Wow. Video. That was video.
Tellers, will you please take your place?
Unbelievable.
Tellers, please take your place. Who are our tellers today?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, everything. I got everything. Yeah. I'll give you my card.
Please.
Yeah,
I'm Charles, by the way.
David, how are you, sir?
Nice to meet you, David.
Pleasure, Charles.
Truly a pleasure. Let me know if I can ever help you in any way on anything. You have got he's got it on video, guys. He's got it all on video.
Can't wait for this.
I keep telling you, he comes after 10 on the camera.
Oh, thank you. Flavor? Oh, okay, then that's I have another Not at all. Not at all. I'm loving it. I'm gonna switch batteries. I'm gonna switch batteries.
So the motion is to approve the consent calendar. The first part of the consent calendar is to approve new members for their second meeting. The item that was been asked to be removed for separate consideration is the Nevada Republican Central Committee list. This is basic procedure to move forward onto the meeting. So it establishes the first part of people who are here who can vote, who have attended their 2 meetings. By voting no, you're denying their membership at this time.
We're going to have to make sure that people that are here can vote that have wristbands, because there's a number of people in here that are standing up that don't have wristbands.
Give it to me.
I have a point of information.
We're going to postpone the meeting, or hold on the meeting, Sally, right now to make sure that only voting people are in attendance.
And that's what my question's about.
This is gold.
Sergeant at Arms, will you please check row by row to who has wristbands, and whoever doesn't have wristbands needs to be removed. Because they're attempting to vote.
Not voting.
Mr. Chair, before we take a vote, can I bring up a point of information?
Okay, I just sent your information to Jesse.
Oh, Jesse. Law? Oh, yeah, I'm
Sally Minster,
actually,
Commission 3.
Oh, good, thank you. And Michael McDonald.
Oh, yeah, Michael.
Thank you.
Sally, come forward.
Thank you. People were counting on me to do this. He can't believe I got that. But yeah, please email me.
If you ever need any help.
Thank you. I don't. Yeah, you have a card?
Yeah, I don't have a card.
Okay.
But let me do this.
Yeah, just either.
I'll just text you.
Yeah, okay. And then give me your first name.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
No, he is a member.
Sergeant at Arms, we're going to go row by row. We're going to check the people, make sure they have. Okay, and then we're going to check the names against the list too to make sure. Okay, right down here. Wayne Allen Root. Where's Wayne Allen Root? Where's the birthday boy while we're here?
I still have a point of information.
There's a motion on the floor.
This is just a question for the body.
It's not appropriate. A question for the body's not appropriate at this time.
You're not appropriate.
I'm asking who's being added to the rolls. We went from 287 to 515, and who are the honorary members that haven't had to have attendance requirements? Everyone else has had to go to 2 meetings, but honorary members are first meeting here tonight. They get to vote and run for office.
Please remove the microphone. This is an point of order. She's deciding to have a speech. Yeah, okay, we're pretty close here.
I cannot believe this guy.
Everybody needs to be seated. We're not going to be wandering and running around the house. If you're not seated, you're going to be asked to leave.
I'm seated. What do you want?
Mr. Root, where's the birthday boy?
Hi.
Sergeant at Arms, are you checking the wristbands with the membership list, please?
Yeah, there was a court order.
That's one way.
This is the biggest pile of crap I've seen since I had a German Shepherd.
Besides the people up there, who actually thinks any of this is being done right? Anybody?
Nobody knows that you've already decided how this thing started.
I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. Not yet. I got enough gold. I have so much gold right now.
Alliances are here. I don't care who people plan to vote for. I want them all here.
I want it this way, and it's going to be this way because I want it.
Follow our rules.
And if the rule isn't there, we're going to raise it up.
They have all of this. It's in our bylaws.
She read the freaking bylaws. He probably disappeared. Wayne Allen movie.
They were good about giving it to me. I don't know. It might be chaos, but they did not. John, Michael, a whole bunch of people, yeah. Yes, sir. Johnny?
What you want to get is get what's going on down there.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's
all the legwork on the election fraud stuff that happened in November.
Oh.
She's a rock star. She's about this close to getting bounced because she tried to raise a ballot point.
Thank you.
That's the action right there.
Cool. Thank you. Good stuff.
I message Justin all the time. I was like, okay, so this person said this. Is it true? You know, please tell me
God bless you. And this is the Republican Party.
This is the Republican Party.
Thank you. Not the one I knew about.
Thumbs up. So what do you want? There's silencing.
I mean, but you know what? Got it on video. I got gold. Gold. Texas tea.
I think you went past school.
Yeah, right?
That's it with the
I feel like the Beverly Hillbillies, you know? Like, it once was a Republican Party name, Jed. Then we're out shooting at some crude and we caught some bullshit on video. Right? Yeah. By the name of Sajak. Yeah, Sajak. Too bad, I liked him last year. This, we have video of it.
Everybody needs to be seated so that we can check wristbands. You're all running all over, which makes it even more difficult. Please be seated so that we can check and make sure everyone that's here is allowed to vote. Okay, if you're not supposed to be standing in 1 minute, you need to sit down or we're going to clear the room. I'm sorry, but we have to check wristbands. Please be seated so we can get through this process so we can go to the vote. So we can get this started promptly. All of you, please take a seat in your appropriate designated area.
She's got her own fights to fight. This isn't coming up. So he's a decent guy. I have no objection to this. You need to talk to my wife. You might get a second. You know, it's like, he knows me so much, right? I have no grievance against this guy. Everything I've seen from him says he seems like a decent guy. He's certainly any of these clowns are standing up there right now. You wouldn't stand fighting this. That's right.
You think right would be right. Only if you think the way I do, or you want my same goal.
That's why the founders said, the founding fathers said, our Constitution was only going to work for a group of people who were led by religion, essentially. Because religion may disagree on a lot of things, but it agrees on the sanctity of life, and there's some basic things it agrees on.
I should have brought dinner. Should have. The Clark County meeting this morning ran to 5 o'clock.
Business. There is absolutely no way to complete this meeting. We stand in recess.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh.